From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried. And with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I am Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 130th. That's right, we made it up to 130. It's 130th Disney feature-length film from March the 11th, 1977, if that date sounds familiar, because it's the same date as our last film. But the 130th film from March the 11th of the year 1977 is the animated classic, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now, we talked about this a few times recently, because this is Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is actually like an anthology film. So like they had released a handful of shorts and they put them all together and made a through line to film the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So a lot of these have been released earlier with different films that we've watched, but they put it together for a feature-length film called The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. A lot of nostalgia here, a lot of familiar voices of those that we've listened to so far. But would you like to start us off with a synopsis about The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh?
In this collection of animated shorts based on the stories and characters by A.A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh, a loving teddy bear, honey-loving teddy bear, embarks on eccentric adventures.
That's right. Had a lot of fun while we're going. Yeah, so it's has a Disney ride in Disney World and in Disneyland of the exact same name that goes through the story. It's very nostalgic. For me, the TV show was super nostalgic. I think more than the movies, the TV show was like it for me. But would you like to start us off with, I mean, I'm sure you're going to save your thoughts for later, but trivia, thoughts, openings?
I didn't really look at trivia and thoughts for this one. Sorry.
All right, whatever. I mean, let's just dive into it then. Because the only trivia need is that we're in for a fun episode.
Yep.
So.
All right. So The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is a feature-length animated film that Walt Disney Productions had compiled that connected 3 previously released Winnie the Pooh shorts that you said. So we have Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, which came out in 1966, Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, 1968, and Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, 1974. So the film uses a charming storybook framework where the narrator interacts with the characters and turns the pages to link each story. It is set in the 100-Acre Wood and follows the simple, endearing adventures of our little friend Winnie the Pooh and his friends. So the film opens up with live action scenes of Christopher Robin's bedroom filled with stuffed animals and toys and books. Some of the stuffed animals you will recognize from Winnie the Pooh and his adventures.
There's a very nostalgic song playing in the background.
You have not got there yet. So the narrator begins reading from a storybook, and the page comes to life, transitioning into an animated 100-Acre Wood. And the song playing is Winnie the Pooh. Throughout the film, the narrator converses directly with Pooh and the others, turning the page and guiding the story forward. So the first clip, we go into the story of Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, and the famous song Up, Down, Touch the Ground comes on. If you haven't heard this one, it is quite adorable. I recommend giving it a listen.
It's in those Disney sing-alongs from the 90s and 80s.
Yeah. So Pooh Bear wakes up one morning and he has an intense craving for honey, like he probably does every single morning.
That's because his cuckoo clock goes off.
It's his cuckoo clock. Um, and he finds his honey pots are empty except for the sticky parts.
He has a hefty, happy appetite for a hefty, happy poo.
Yeah, I always giggled whenever he would say it's all empty but the sticky parts, because honey's sticky all itself, so there's not going to be anything left but sticky parts.
So it's just like the milk. They're like the
I guess drips and drops
yeah,
left.
whatever.
So he sets off in search of more. And during this part, we hear the song Rumbly in My Tumbly. He spots bees buzzing around in a tree and decides to climb to reach their honey.
Oh, that's a good job climbing too.
Yeah, so then he goes off to find Christopher Robin, who
He falls from the tree first.
he does.
Oh, bother.
Yes, and then he goes off to find Christopher Robin, who is helping Eeyore with reattaching his tail, like he does a lot, because poor Eeyore cannot keep up with it.
He's stuffed with sawdust.
Yeah. So he's getting his tail reattached, and Pooh asks if Christopher Robin has a balloon to help him get some honey. So Pooh disguises himself as a little black rain cloud by rolling in the mud and floating up with the balloon borrowed from Christopher Robin. And the cute little song, Little Black Rain Cloud, plays. The bees, unfortunately for Pooh Bear, see through this disguise and they chase him off. Still hungry, because it does not go well for him. He ends up eating bees. Um,
Spits him out.
he ends up back in the in the mud.
You know what I loved though?
What?
Is that he's like, they don't believe I'm a cloud. So he tells Christopher Robin to
yeah.
like open his umbrella and say like tut tut, it looks like rain. So like the they
Yes.
think that it's actually that he's a cloud.
Yeah, I mean, he was really going in for this.
You also missed a very crucial part when we were putting Eeyore's tail back on.
Hmm.
We met Mr. Owl. Okay.
Okay, yes, we met Mr. Owl. Anyway, um, all right. So, um, at this point, he's been attacked by the bees. He's ended up in mud again. It's hard to tell with the bees, but he discovered that those were the wrong bees. So he's still hungry. He goes off to Rabbit's house. Unfortunately for him, Rabbit tries to hide when he hears it's Pooh Bear. So he doesn't have to entertain him, but he does a terrible job at it. Any comments you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. So then Rabbit begrudgingly, politely offers him food, and then Pooh Bear proceeds to eat all of Rabbit's honey.
Lots and lots of honey.
And he says he would like just a little small helping of honey, but then he mentions, well, I did mean a little larger of a small helping. And then he eats basically all of the honey, and he gets tired and tells Rabbit, I must be going now. Goodbye, Rabbit. Famous last words of Pooh Bear before he gets stuck.
So yes, Pooh gets stuck. Oh bother.
Yeah.
But then Rabbit just goes out the back door, which is a full-size door. Why didn't
Yeah.
Homeboy just go out the back door?
I don't know. I kind of always wondered that when I was a kid, but I don't know.
Uh,
So anyway, when he tries to leave, he gets stuck in Rabbit's front door from overeating. Rabbit runs to get Christopher Robin, and heavens to Betsy. It always made me laugh because my great grandma always used to say that. And then while Rabbit is gone to get help, Al shows up
the wonderful
and
Mr. Owl.
discusses how Pooh is stuck and tries to enlist Gopher to help him pull Pooh out.
That's because somebody calls her an evacuation expert.
I love Gopher. He's one of my favorites. And
Owl.
And Gopher. Anyway, so Christopher Robbins finally comes and shows up with the others, and they're going to help, but it's no use. Pooh is just wedged in there and he is stuck. So they decide that they're just going to have to wait for Pooh to slim down. And during this, Rabbit is obviously very disgruntled by this, but he decides to redecorate his home around Pooh's rear end. He
Mhm.
turns him into a moose, like a moose head on the wall. Except Pooh starts to laugh because he's coloring or painting on his butt. So the lips on the Pooh Bear butt doesn't
And
like squiggles.
meanwhile, with the Filper trying to get him out, and he's like, "This would be so much easier if there wasn't a bear stuck in here. The bear is coming up the whole project." And
Mhm.
and the owl keeps asking him like how much money it's going to cost, and he's like, "I never give an estimate. Estimates are too risky." And I want you to talk about the gopher eating his lunch.
I didn't. I didn't write that. I only hit the main topics.
So then the gopher eats his lunch, which Winnie the Pooh is like,
Oh yeah.
can you spare a small smackle of honey?"
He's
And
like,
then
"Do you have any honey in there?"
and then um
Rabbit hears honey and panics inside.
yeah, and he like runs up and makes a sign that says, "Don't feed the bear."
Yeah.
Okay, and then he budges, which I'm sure you talked about. So back to you.
Okay. So after about a week, Pooh finally pops free, shooting across Rabbit's garden and into the air, almost out of the storybook. They
Oh yeah,
quickly turn the page.
I wrote. Yep. The narrator says he sails clear out of the book. Quickly turn the page.
Yes. Uh, and then we hear the song "Bears Love Honey," and I'm a Pooh Bear, so I do care. And then, um,
He gets stuck in a tree full of honey, and
yeah,
he's like, "Take your time, take your time."
he gets stuck, and then the narrator's like, "Okay, well, on to the next story." And then Winnie the Pooh is like, "Wait, I'm not finished yet," and he's like, "It's okay." Anyway, so we transition to the next story, which is Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day.
Which is straight out of that ride.
Yes. So the narrator announces that it's Wednesday in the 100-Acre Wood. Pooh is heading out to his thoughtful place on this blustery day, and he talks to Gopher, who informs him that it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So Pooh decides to go wish everyone a happy Wednesday. And then we end up with running into Piglet,
You meet Piglet for the first time.
who is tiny and just blowing away.
What kind of animal is Piglet?
A pig. He's a piglet.
I'll support that.
He's a small
He's just like a
piglet.
small little thing. I don't know.
He's a piglet. Look at him. He's a little bit.
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess.
What's his name?
I mean, that makes sense. But he's just like a small little like.
Piglet. Piglet is a piglet.
I mean, that makes sense, and I should have thought of that. But either way, like make fun of me all you want. He's like a small little like he's tinier than the gopher. He's like a little like.
Yeah, have you ever seen a small piglet? They're tiny.
This has been.
He's not a hog. He's a piglet.
This is something. But go ahead, back to you.
Anyway. Okay. So he has on a scarf around his neck and he starts to blow away, but luckily, Pooh Bear is able to catch his scarf on one side. But unfortunately, Piglet starts to unravel, and then we get a piglet kite.
Can I add one quick thing?
Sure.
Before you, because it comes up, it's kind of important later.
Mhm.
When we meet Piglet, Piglet is talking about how much he loves his house.
Mhm.
Piglet is talking about he like lives in like a base of a tree because he's so
Yes.
small because he's not actually a pig. He's a little whatever he is.
Piglet.
And he lives in like the base of a tree, and he's so excited about this house because it's been his family forever. And um he says that the sign is named after his grandfather because the sign says "Trespassers Will" because the bottom is clearly ripped off, and he says that was short for Trespassers William, which was his father. And then
Who was probably a hog.
I mean maybe, but he's such a small little something. So, but whatever. Back to you. Back to okay. So that comes up later as an important plot piece. So
Yes. So Piglet loves his house. He ends up getting blown away as a piglet kite. Pooh and Piglet end up at Owl's treehouse during this windy adventure, and we find through his rambling that Owl is related to screech owls. Then
Owl talks from page 41 all the way to page 62.
I've not got there yet,
Oh,
but thank
okay.
you. So Al's treehouse falls down as the tree falls, and we find out that Al keeps on talking from page 41 to 62. And then Pooh is back at home somehow. We end up back in Pooh's house, and he's trying to sleep, and he hears a noise that he's never heard before. So what does he do? He invites the sound in, and he meets Tigger for the first time, who proudly introduces himself and declares that bouncing is what Tiggers do best.
T.I. Double G.
And during this part, we hear the wonderful thing about Tiggers, the song. My one complaint about Tigger is on the TV and the movie, he has a pink nose. It's pink. Pink. If you see him walking around at the Disneyland park or Disney World, he is not going to have a pink nose. It's going to be black.
Because he has to go see out of something.
You can see the pink.
Whatever. Back to you. You think Piglet's a pig. It's the
If you
size of
want
this.
to us and tell us how
It's like
stupid
he's
Jeffrey
like the
is,
size of this marker.
you've got Owl named Owl. You've got
Yeah, owl's an owl.
a rabbit named Rabbit. You've got a Winnie the Pooh bear named Winnie the Pooh
Yeah,
bear.
you have Kanga and Roo. I get it. You have Gopher, but you have
Piglet.
but Piglet is so like he's like
Gopher.
the size of like a
The only
caterpillar.
one, the only no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
The only one that doesn't make sense is Eeyore.
So are you saying that Winnie the Pooh is 6 feet tall?
I'm saying if you look at the size of an actual piglet, you will see how tiny they are.
He's
Okay, stop arguing with me so we can get through this episode and not linger on everyone's time. Um, so anyway, Tigger is in the house, and before he leaves, he plants the idea in Pooh's mind about heffalumps and woozles.
because he's hungry, and then all Pooh has to feed him is honey. But then he said
Yeah.
tigers don't like honey.
Well, at first he said tigers love honey,
Yeah.
and then Winnie the Pooh was like, "Oh, I was afraid of that." But then he tried it and discovered he did not like honey, so he leaves. So at this point, Pooh decides that he has to make sure to do whatever he has to do to make sure his honey is safe. So that night, it's a very rainy night in the forest, and Winnie the Pooh starts to dream of Heffalumps and Woozles, which is the part of the movie where he iconically starts coming out of his body because he's going into the dream. It's strange, colorful creatures trying to steal his honey in a surreal musical sequence because thanks to Tigger, who now thinks that Heffalumps and Woozles love honey too. And then the famous song Heffalumps and Woozles come on. And I have to say, I like Heffalumps a lot better than the Woozles. And I think it's because the Woozles reminded me too much of the Weasels from Mr. Toad's Adventures. What about you? Which one's your favorite?
I mean, I love the whistles from Mr. Toad.
So do you love the Woozles better than the Heffalumps?
I mean, do you like weasels more than you like elephants?
No, I like the Heffalumps.
So you like the elephants more than you like the weasels?
Yeah. What about you?
They're fun.
You don't have a favorite?
No. Yeah, owl.
No, I asked you which one was your favorite, Heffalumps or Woozles?
Owls.
Okay. All right, so the next morning, the floodwaters have risen dramatically.
Rained right off the page.
Yep. And then we get to the song, "The rain, rain, rain comes down, down, down." And then we find out that Pooh has managed to save 10 honey pots, but then the rain carried Pooh and a honey pot away. And then we have Piglet joining in on a chair. So they're just floating in this water. Roo finds a message in a bottle and gives it to Christopher Robin. And he reads the letter from Piglet asking for help.
Because it's this big.
Anyway.
Piglet's my least favorite character.
Okay, well, that's why you hate him. So Anyway, so Christopher Robin, Owl, and Rabbit organize a rescue effort. With the help of the others, they manage to save Piglet and Pooh, who are held as heroes. As a reward, we find out that Eeyore has been on the search for a new house for our dear friend Owl, who lost his house, and Eeyore has discovered him a new home, which we find out, unfortunately, is Piglet's house. And Piglet refuses to say, hey, no, that's my house, even though he loved his house. And then Pooh tries to encourage him to do it. He's like, no, 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 it's fine. So Pooh graciously agrees to let Piglet live with him, showing them that it's, well, you can live with me because you did a very great thing. And he asks Christopher Robin if they can turn a one hero party into a two hero party because that was a very brave thing that he did.
Can I pause you for a second?
I guess.
I just Googled Piglet
Yeah.
from the
Mhm.
Winnie the Pooh franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Piglet is a fictional character from A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh book.
Mm-hmm.
Piglet is Winnie the Pooh's closest friend amongst all the toys and animals featured in the story. Piglet is described as, in quotes, a very small animal. Doesn't say anything about him being a pig. He just says, quote unquote, he's a very
Look at
small
him. He has a
animal.
snout. Don't be stupid.
I am just reading you
Look at him.
what the thing says.
Look at him.
He has a generally timid disposition, but he tries to be brave and occasionally conquers his fears. But it literally says he is known as, quote unquote, a very small animal. Because the reason I asked that is because when Christopher Robin or Winnie the Pooh, who are both, well, Winnie the Pooh is a stuffed animal just like Piglet is,
Yes.
holds his hand, he has to like reach down to hold like a tiny little hand because. But hey, we're back to you. Whatever.
Okay. So anyway, they're celebrating, and Pooh and Piglet are getting tossed up on this blanket up into the air, and poor Gopher decides to pop his head out of his gopher hole, but gets knocked back down into his hole because that is also a running bit. Gopher. All right. So then we end up going to our third short, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. And in this short, Pooh is in his thoughtful spot, and then Tigger bounces him and says, I remember you. You're the one stuffed with fluff. Tigger then bounces off and bounces into Piglet, telling him that he is saving his bestest bounces for old long ears. So Tigger bounces off and into Rabbit and ruins his garden. Because, you know, if anybody's going to complain, it's going to be Rabbit. He's going to complain about anything and everything. So we see that Tigger has these endless bouncing things that just begun to annoy everyone.
Well, it's because his tops are made out of rubber. His bottoms are made of springs.
Yes. So Rabbit calls a meeting with Pooh and Piglet and starts scheming on how to unbounce him. And he's decided they're going to do that by losing him in the woods. Because if they lose him in the woods, he'll be afraid and everything. And then he'll be like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Anyway, Pooh falls asleep during this meeting because obviously it's boring. And he's like, well, what do you think? And he's like, well, I was listening, but I had a small piece of fluff in my ear, and asks Rabbit to start over again from the time that he got the fluff in his ear. And Rabbit's like, well, when that happened, and he said, I don't know, from the time it got there.
From the time the fluff got there.
Anyway, they agree that they're going to do this plan. So Rabbit goes over the plan again to lose Tigger in the woods. The next morning, it's cold and misty. They set out with Tigger. He is leading the group. And Rabbit decides that's the best time to ditch Tigger. So they hide. They lose Tigger. But then Tigger realizes that they're gone and assumes that they are the ones that are lost. And then around page 123, we see that their plan backfires when they all get lost. And Rabbit has like gone off on his own, and Pooh and Piglet fall asleep, but Piglet gets woken up from a rumble in Pooh Bear's tummy and on their way out of the woods, um, because Pooh said that he can hear his honey pots and he couldn't hear it earlier because of Rabbit talking. But Piglet's like, okay, well, I'll follow you then since you know. And he was like, okay. So Tigger finds them. Um, but then they realize that Rabbit's still lost, wandering around in the mist. And unfortunately for Rabbit, his mind starts to play tricks on him. So Tigger goes back out into the woods to find Rabbit.
He says,
to rescue him.
TTFN. Talk for now.
And then we see that later, Tigger goes out with Roo, and we find out that Tiggers don't like ice skating. But we do find out that Tiggers bounce trees best. So Tigger almost bounces right out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And once he realizes how high up they are, he becomes terrified. So the story shifts over to Pooh Bear and Piglet, who is tracking some tracks in the snow. And then Piglet asks him what he's doing, and he basically tells him he's following these animal tracks. He doesn't know what they are.
Another set coming.
Yeah. So they continue to follow the tracks, and they are led to Tigger and Roo. But at first, Pooh thinks it's a jaguar. And then Roo calls out, and Piglet realizes it's Tigger and Roo, not anything scary. So they're not afraid anymore. And then Roo tells them that he's okay, but Tigger's stuck.
Because he's afraid.
Because he's afraid. So word gets to Christopher Robin, who comes to save the day. Rabbit sees this as the perfect opportunity to stop Tigger's bouncing, and he celebrates because, I mean, if Tigger's stuck in the tree, he can't bounce. However, Tigger promises to never bounce again if he can just get out of this situation he's in. So he has some interaction with the narrator, and the narrator basically turns the page and tells him, you can open your eyes up, you're safe now. And he slides down the letters on the side of the page, and he is safely back on the ground, thanks to a little bit of storybook magic. Relieved and grateful, he almost goes back to his bouncing ways, but Rabbit calls him out on it, saying, nope, you promised. You promised you wouldn't bounce. So he walks off by himself, very sulkingly, and it looks very sad. And then Roo tells Christopher Robin that he likes the old Tigger best, and then finally Rabbit admits this too. And then Tigger returns back, bouncing Rabbit. And then once again, we hear the wonderful thing about Tiggers. And then
Tops are made of rubber, bottoms are made of springs.
yeah, and then Tigger gets Rabbit to bounce with him, so they have a little fun. Then we come towards the end of the movie, where in the final scene of the storybook setting, we have Christopher Robin and Pooh Bear, and they are sharing a little moment in the enchanted place. And they walk through the 100-acre wood, and Christopher Robin talks about growing up.
Going away to school.
And it's, I guess all the animals, the stuffed animals, know that he is going off to school, but they don't really understand the whole process of why he's doing it or why he has to do it. And he explains that he's not going to be able to come to the forest to play all the time. And he asks Pooh Bear to promise that he'll never forget him. So Pooh Bear promises that he'll never forget him. And he said, even when I turn 100. And then he's like, yeah, but how old will I be at that point? And he said, you'll be 99, silly bear.
He also says that what he loves best is doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then Pooh asks what doing nothing is. And that's when the kids tell the parents that they don't want to do anything, and then they go out and do nothing.
Yeah. So
Pooh promises they won't forget him ever.
yeah. And then the narrator gently closes the storybook, which brings the adventures to an emotional little closure.
And I think
Did you cry? Don't lie. Did you cry?
I mean, at one point, probably watching this.
Mm.
I
You didn't even
think
tear up today?
I think that the end of this, like that last scene, was filmed later.
Probably.
Like it wasn't one of the three shorts. I was reading that. Like
Yeah, I mean,
it
it would make sense that they filmed it later for it to be.
tied it all together
Yeah.
on the thing.
Um,
But
the
yeah,
only little trivia bit that I did get was
the owl's the best.
no, it's Gopher because he whistles when he talks.
The
Anyway,
owl talks a lot.
not too much. Anyway, there's some very notable songs in here by the Sherman Brothers, which are Winnie the Pooh, Up Down Touch the Ground, Rumbly in My Tumbly, The Wonderful Thing About Tears, Heffalumps and Woozles, and The Rain, Rain, Rain Came Down, Down, Down.
Makes sense because it was from the 60s. I actually don't think that they're doing too much with the company now in the 70s, but a lot of these
Probably
were from
not,
the
but
60s.
yeah, all of these came from the 60s. So, yep.
So yeah, so thoughts, ratings, Winnie the Pooh,
Mhm.
Howl.
It was a good movie. It's got all the touches, all the feels. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I've enjoyed it since I've watched it over and over again.
So then where did you rate it?
So IMDb gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Solid.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Also solid. Oh, I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe out of 10. Maybe a 10. It's good though. The TV show's better though. But I'm gonna be completely frank with you.
I agree with
The
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 TV
the
show is
TV
still
show
good.
only ran for a few years. I was reading about it earlier. It only ran
And
for like,
the
but we
the
we were the
TV
correct age. It was like 89 to like 92.
Yeah, but the TV show didn't it use the same like opening every episode as the beginning of this movie?
Pretty much.
And the
And it
we all remember those
also,
that same room.
the owl was in a bunch. Actually, the rabbit was in a bunch. Well,
Anyway,
Piglet, he's a little animal.
a little piglet.
So yeah, so you gave it a 10 out of 10. So
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
is this your highest rated one so far?
That I don't know. Um, I guess I can look and see what did I rate? Um,
What did you rate the Sleeping Beauty?
I know I didn't rate Sleeping Beauty.
Well, that's like high up on your list. That's what I'm gonna ask. I would assume that you rate Sleeping Beauty higher than you rated 101 Dalmatians. This is making for great audio and visual here while you're
Yeah.
searching this.
All
So
right.
I'll talk about how great the owl is while we wait. No.
101 Dalmatians, I gave a 9.
Yeah. Would you give Sleeping Beauty though?
Sleeping Beauty? Really don't think I gave Sleeping Beauty that high. Oh, hang on. So Sleeping Beauty I also rated a 9. Okay. Maybe this is the highest one I've rated.
Well, probably if you give it a 10, yeah. Like, what are you gonna do? Double dip on the next one? So of course.
What did I rate Dumbo?
Double's low on your list though.
I rated Dumbo a 9. It my top 4 are all rated 9s out of 10.
Okay,
Anyway,
so then what does this number 10 make your list upon a star then?
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is number 1. It is gonna knock 101 Dalmatians down. Finally. I don't remember how long what it was at.
Since the movie number 51.
So
80
since
movies.
1961.
So 80 movies.
Yeah. It's finally losing its number 1 spot on my list. So we've got The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Gang, The Strongest Man in the World, Napoleon and Samantha, Snowball Express, and The Jungle Book. Poor Aristocats, they're gone.
They're also off of mine, so there you go.
They lost that place together.
Yeah, so My List Upon a Star, the Aristocats is also getting chopped off the chopping block, but My List Upon a Star is, where do you think I'm gonna put it?
You're definitely probably not going to put it above Mary Poppins or probably Peter Pan. So maybe over Robin Hood.
So my list upon a star after this movie, as we are erasing the Aristocats off, or Aristocats, they made it a strong 7 years or whatever. But my number one is 101 Dalmatians. My number two is Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
My number three is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, followed by number four at Peter Pan, followed by number five at Robin Hood, followed by number six at Alice in Wonderland, seven Bedknobs and Broomsticks, eight Babes in Toyland, nine The Apple Dumpling Gang, and 10 now on the chopping block, a movie that is so good, Napoleon and Samantha. But yeah, I love this film. I let you have the notes for this one. I'm gonna let you also enjoy it.
Enjoy it. It's number one on my list.
Yeah, Owl deserves more, but
Gopher.
Gopher's kind of annoying.
Gopher and Gopher.
I was gonna
are
have
my
you.
favorite.
You know what? I was gonna have you do it. Oh, by the way, we're gonna put that list upon a star right here. But I was going to have you rate the characters.
That would be too hard. I mean, my favorite is definitely Eeyore.
Owl.
And I do love Tigger.
No, I love Winnie the Pooh.
And then I would say it's kind of tied for Pooh Bear and Piglet.
I take that back. My favorite character is Christopher Robin.
My least favorite character is Rabbit because I think he's rude.
Christopher Robin's my number one. Then Winnie the
Christopher
Pooh.
Robin, I don't really consider a character. I know he is,
He's the
but
story arc for sure.
yeah,
He's
I feel like
A.A. Milne's child.
he gets in there and saves the day all the time.
Well, it's because he's the hero. He's the boy from Boy Meets World.
Whatever. He's probably the one that caused all the problems.
Again, he's the story. But yeah, so this, Aristocats is no longer on either of our lists, and it had a good 20 or 31 movie run in 7 years. But
Yeah.
yeah, so our next film, I was gonna cut to the part before that, but our next film is also another animated classic. And I think it's an animated classic that I don't think I've ever seen before.
What is it?
It is from June of the year 1977, so we're floating over from March to June. It is film number 131, and like I said, it's an animated classic, and it's called The Rescuers. And I have no idea.
I think I watched it, but I don't think I remember a lot of it.
I don't know.
But
We'll report back
I
then.
know for sure I've seen The Rescuers Down Under.
Me too.
But I think I may have seen The Rescuers.
I've seen The Rescuers Down Under. I know there's like some lore to The Rescuers, but I don't know.
All right.
Will it compete with 101 Dalmatians? But either way, let us know. So thank you for following along on Instagram. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you. We are on we are on Spotify and YouTube at Deep Diving the Magic. If you would like to follow along, talk about our love for Winnie the Pooh, and we are.
Who's your favorite character?
Man, Owl just deserves so much more. He's the reason I love Disney owls. Oh, you know what? Time out. Before I even talk about the end here, I love the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and I love the ride Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but man, is that the worst queue at Walt Disney World. I hate that queue so much. People that watching around that know this know how much I hate it. But either way, so deep dive in the magic pod at gmail.com if you want to write to us about how Piglet is a small animal. Here's why I get confused about Piglet being a pig. I understand that Piglet is a pig. It is in his name. But he has like ears like he's the bat from Fern Gully.
You know why? Because they're piglet ears.
They're like, he can fly with those things.
Anyway.
Either way.
Right.
So deepdivethemagicpod at gmail.com. We will see you next time for The Rescuers. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. And please join us and tell us that Piglet is a pig. He's a baby pig. Because he's a piglet. Thanks for deep diving magic.
Bye.
Bye.